guys, welcome back to my channel. How are you guys doing today? I want to apologize first of all. I am finally getting over a cold, but I still have a little bit of a raspy voice, so I do apologize in advance, but I wanted to make sure I got this video filmed and got it out to you guys by the end of the week. And there is my little guy. Hold on, he might want up here. Come on. Okay, come on. Okay, he's gonna be joining today. Okay, anyway, so we are at week five of the 2019 wellness series, and we are continuing to work on self-care, personal development, and really working on identifying the aspects of our life that might not be flowing as well as we'd like them to, and that could be contributing to our overall mental health. So as I've stated at the beginning, although all of these things don't necessarily contribute to curing or treating our anxiety or our depression or our feelings of being overwhelmed or anything like that, it might not be the only way to stop it from happening, but it can and does contribute to our overall health. So making sure that we are identifying our physical, our emotional, our spiritual health, and all the things that contribute to that can really, really make a difference in terms of overall well-being and how we are feeling. So I do want to make sure that we are continuously remembering that that is the point of this series, that there can be little aspects of our life that just need a little bit of tweaking and fine-tuning that can make a huge difference in terms of our overall well-being. So today's topic is goal setting. Last week we talked about habits, and we definitely touched on the importance of habits and how goal setting can contribute to that. So I wanted to use this week to kind of elaborate on the goal setting portion of that and give you guys some examples of ways that are helpful and not so helpful in terms of goal setting. So the first thing that I want to make sure I talk about is the difference between long-term and short-term goals. This is probably all something we're really, really familiar with or have heard of, but it is really important in terms of our success. So when we are looking at something in the long term, when we have a big, big goal that we want to accomplish, we can get really lost or caught up in it being so far away. Some people do really well with long-term goals. Most people, though, do a lot better with short-term goals that are building and stacking up to get to our long-term goal. But it is really important to make sure that you understand and know the differences between the two and what your own definition of long-term and short-term goals are. Long-term can be a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, however that feels for you. Short-term goals are more like weekly, monthly, even 6 months. But the things that we do each week build up to each month, build up to each 6 months, can build up to a year. So I do like us to focus on small goals that will be building up to our bigger long-term goals. So when we are creating goals, when we're creating New Year's resolutions, when we're creating all of these things that we want to accomplish, it's really important to make sure we're putting them into the categories they belong in. I personally think like New Year's resolutions that are super long, 12 months long, can be really, really hard to stick to and can kind of get lost in the process of just daily life. And so sometimes it's more helpful to focus on short-term goals that will continue to build on one another, that will get us to the 12-month mark. So the biggest thing that I want us to focus on is long-term and short-term goals. I think it is important to have both, and I think it's important to have our short-term goals be connected to our long-term goals, if that makes sense. So if a short-term goal, if our long-term goal is we want to pass a test. I've got a huge national exam coming up in the next couple of months. So that's been a work in progress. It's been a long-term goal. Well, if I think about passing the test, just that, I get really, really overwhelmed. But what if I think about, okay, here's what I can do this week, here's my goals for next week, here's what I need to accomplish for the week after, it can feel less overwhelming. If we have a weight loss goal, if we have a saving money goal, if we say I want to save $5,000 by the end of the year, that can feel really overwhelming and like a lot. But if we focus on, I want to put $100 away this week, or I want to put a couple $100s away this month, it can feel a lot less overwhelming. So, first and foremost is paying attention to the difference between long-term and short-term goals, and making sure that your short-term goal is building upon one another to get to our long-term goal. The second thing that I find really important when talking about goal setting is making goals that are obtainable. A lot of the time we set goals for ourselves without even realizing it that are super hard to reach. I'm not saying that we can't be motivated or aspire to have a really big, lofty goal, but make sure that you are setting yourself up for success. So what I mean by that is if you have a long-term goal of losing 50 pounds, that can feel like a lot, and it could be doable depending on where you're at. But this also kind of goes back to short-term goals. Maybe focus on losing 5 pounds a week, or 5 pounds a month, or 5 pounds every couple of months, or whatever it is. So focusing on the short term to reach the long term. But also, if you don't have 50 pounds to lose, setting a goal of 50 pounds to lose is setting yourself up for failure. So make sure that you are setting goals that are reachable. If you have a goal of wanting to put away $5,000, but you only have about $100 in a year, but you only have about $100 extra a month to put away, you're not going to probably reach that $5,000 in 12 months. So make sure that you are setting goals that are reachable and obtainable. They can be lofty, they can be big, they can make you push you so that you're out of your comfort zone to reach them, so that if we're doing the money one, so that when you get extra money for your birthday or you get a bonus, you put that away too, which could help get you there. Make sure that you're still setting goals that are obtainable. If we're focusing on mental health, if you have a goal of never having a panic attack again and you've been suffering weekly from panic attacks, probably not a goal that's going to be reached. I really hate to say that because panic attacks are the worst, but make sure that you're setting goals that are reachable. So maybe I want to have 1 less panic attack a week. If we're having 5 panic attacks a week, let's do 1 less. Progress is progress. So let's make sure any small amount of progress is movement forward. So let's make sure that we're focusing on small amounts of it to get you there. If you are feeling really depressed and struggling with getting out of the house and not motivated to do anything or leave, saying, I'm going to go out of the house, I'm going to go do grocery shopping or go to the gym 5 days a week when you haven't left the house in 7 days is probably not very obtainable. So I recommend, maybe 1 day a week we pick something that gets us out of the house, or 1 day a week having us go do something so that we're still moving forward, we're still progressing, but it's obtainable. Because the importance of this is when we set goals that are not obtainable, we fail. And when we fail, our brain pays attention to that and then doesn't want us to try again. And so when we set goals, even very small goals, sometimes the goal is just getting up and getting dressed for the day. I have a lot of clients who are struggling with anxiety and depression, and their 3 things that I give them for the day is get up, get dressed, and have some breakfast. And if that's all they can accomplish that day, then they are kicking butt. And so no goal is too big and no goal is too small if it's obtainable and within reason. But definitely make sure that you're focusing on the importance of moving forward and having progress, because we need to see success. When our brain is anxious, when our brain is not working as well as we would like it to, it needs to see progress, it needs to see success to get the motivation to keep going. So I encourage that you keep working on it, but setting really, really small goals, being able to check it off a checklist. Did that one, got that one done today, and now let's keep moving forward. So that is what I would say for goal 2, or the importance of goals for this topic, is making sure you're setting obtainable goals. The third thing, which I also talked about a little bit last week, but I want to make sure that I really talk about the importance of it, is only having a couple things that you're working on at a time. When we overwhelm ourselves with trying to change and grow rapidly in a lot of different categories, it can get incredibly overwhelming and we can not be very successful at it. I would encourage that you pick a couple different things in each category, in multiple different categories. So if we have a health category with our physical health, or a category for our mental health, or a category for our nutrition, or for saving money, or for being a better friend, or whatever category it is. Pick a handful of them, you know, pick 3 or 4 for goals, and then work really hard at them. But don't pick 3 different health goals or 3 different finance goals. Like, I'm trying to save for a house, and I'm trying to pay off my car, and I'm trying to get my student loans taken care of. That's a lot. And then the money's going to be getting pulled in a lot of different directions in the same category. And then we're not actually accomplishing that much, because we're putting 100 here, 100 here, 100 here, and we're not getting closer, or we are getting closer, but we're not getting as close to getting something paid off as we could if we were putting that $300 towards our car or something like that. And same with, you know, nutrition. So if we're like, okay, I'm going to cut out all cheese, I'm going to cut out all dairy, I'm going to cut out all carbohydrates, I'm going to cut out all processed sugar. And prior to that, you were eating all of those, that's going to be really, really hard. And our body is going to struggle immensely with trying to figure out how to achieve all of those goals at one time. So what I would encourage, if you're pretty motivated, is to pick something in one category. So maybe I'm going to cut out soda for a month. I'm also going to cut out going through drive-through coffee. And I'm going to put the $5 that I would do towards drive-through coffee towards paying off my car, in addition to putting $100 away a month. That's it. That's a short-term goal that's working towards our long-term goal, being healthier, not drinking soda, getting our car paid off. They're fairly connected, which is also motivating, and it's a short-term goal that's helping with a long-term goal as well. And then maybe you also want to work on reading more. Okay, that could be another goal. So then at nighttime, you do, you know, 1 chapter right before bed each night. So now we've got 3 different goals: money saving, health, and self-care. Put the phone down, get off social media, read a book. Okay, we've got 3 different things, but they're not, and they do overlap, but they're not overwhelming one another. They're actually quite connected, and they can be really helpful in terms of moving forward, but without feeling really, really overwhelmed. Does that make sense? So the 3 things that I kind of touched on today is short-term versus long-term goals, making sure you're setting both and that they're connected if possible, because it's easier to get to a long-term goal than when we have a short-term goal connected to it. Making sure that we have attainable goals, goals that are reachable, goals that are outside our comfort zone, because we want to be uncomfortable to grow, but that are within range of something we can achieve. And then third is that we are not setting too many goals in the same category so that we're not incredibly overwhelmed or stretched really thin, but that we've picked 2, 3, 4 goals in different categories that can work together to help us get more motivated and grow and do the things that we want to accomplish. So that's it for today. I just wanted to make sure I got this video done. Again, I apologize that my voice is a little bit raspy, and that we had Mr. D here. This is Diego, and he joined us. His goal is to eat, go to the dog park, and cuddle. Those are his goals for the day. So far, he's done 2 out of 3. So, anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And next week, we're going to be talking about decluttering and the importance of having a clear space around us and how that can help having a clear mind. So make sure you check back in. If you want to join this challenge, it's not too late. I can still send out the newsletters to you. So we are on week 5, but I have them saved. So if you do want to, I can send out the previous newsletters and you can start this process as well. So feel free to comment below. Please like this video if you found it helpful. Comment if you have any questions or thoughts, and please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next week.